Today's news highlights 20250821. Date August 21, 2025. Republic of China August 21, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights: a 26-year-old Vietnamese woman has not eaten meat for a long time to lose weight, eating vegetables and grains as a staple food, and often eats salted egg porridge and fried egg cakes for breakfast. The doctor pointed out that salted eggs are high in sodium and cholesterol, while omelets are high in oil and salt, which may lead to high blood pressure, blood vessel hardening and blood clots in the long run, and increase the risk of stroke. Nutritionists remind that relying solely on a light or high-carb diet is not healthy, and extreme weight loss may lead to malnutrition and chronic diseases. News highlights: green tea is rich in catechins, among which EGCG is the most representative, which has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, blood sugar stabilization and nerve protection effects, and may even inhibit tumor cells. Studies have shown that EGCG can not only improve cardiovascular and metabolic conditions, but also help delay brain degeneration. Its absorption effect varies depending on human genetic differences, and gut bacteria can better interact with EGCG to enhance health benefits. To enhance the effect, it is recommended to brew it in hot water at 80 degrees Celsius for 1 to 2 minutes, pair it with vitamin C foods, and avoid eating it with high iron foods. Zhang Jiaming emphasized that moderate consumption of green tea combined with good lifestyle habits can accumulate long-term health benefits. News highlights: the latest research points out that fruits not only do not increase the risk of diabetes, but can help control and prevent sugar. The American Diabetes Association's 2025 guidelines recommend choosing high nutrient density foods, such as fruits and vegetables. Wang Jingyuan of National Taiwan University Hospital said that nearly 90% of adults in Taiwan do not consume enough fruits, which may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Studies have also found that eating 2 servings of fruit a day can reduce the risk of diabetes by 36%. Nutritionists recommend choosing fruits with high nutrient density, high fiber, and low GI, such as kiwi fruit, guava, and berries, which can not only increase satiety, but also help stabilize blood sugar, making them a healthy choice for sugar lovers. News highlights: the U.S. Northern Strike 25-2 military exercise was held in Michigan in early August for 2 weeks, with a total of 7,500 soldiers from 36 states and 9 countries participating, including about 500 Taiwanese soldiers. This is the first time in more than a decade that the background of the exercise has shifted from Europe to the Indo-Pacific, and emphasizes maritime supply and island combat capabilities to simulate the future decentralized deployment needs that may be faced in the Pacific. During the exercise, 2 B-2 stealth bombers landed in Michigan for training for the first time, which attracted attention. The analysis pointed out that the U.S. military has demonstrated multi-service cooperation and rapid response capabilities, and has strengthened deterrence to respond to potential Asia-Pacific conflicts. News highlights: the high-speed rail extension to Yulan project passed the review of the EIA meeting on the 20th, and will be completed and sent to the Ministry of Transportation for review, with the goal of reporting to the Executive Yuan before the end of the year, and is expected to be completed in 11 years after approval. The route runs from Nangang via Zizi, Pingxi, and Chuangzi to Yulan, with a total length of about 60.6 kilometers, and a maintenance machine factory is set up. Supporters believe that high-speed rail can relieve traffic congestion in National 5, drive the development of Yulan, and promote traffic equality. The opposing side questioned that the budget was as high as 352.1 billion yuan and that communication was insufficient, which may affect farmland and the environment. The Environmental Protection Committee requested to strengthen seamless connections, land use planning, and public participation, and finally decided to supplement and amend the review after passing the review. News highlights: Taiwan's political arena is in the midst of a wave of recalls, and after 24 Blue Camp legislators and Hsinchu Mayor Gao Hong passed the security count in July, the second wave of voting will be held on August 23. Scholars pointed out that the wave of recalls stemmed from the stalemate between the government and the opposition, and the Green Camp was dissatisfied with the frequent pushing of controversial bills and budget cuts by the blue and white legislators and launched recalls, while the opposition criticized it as political retaliation, leading to an increase in the confrontation between the government and the opposition. Experts believe that if Lai King continues to be uncompromising, he may fall into idling government affairs and make it difficult to accumulate political achievements, which will affect his re-election in 2028. Whether the government and the opposition can resolve conflicts and negotiate rationally in the future will determine the political direction and whether Taiwan can focus on dealing with external challenges. News highlights: U.S. Secretary of Commerce Lutnick considered using the CHIPS Act subsidy in exchange for part of the equity of TSMC, Samsung, and other companies, causing Taiwan stocks and TSMC stock prices to plummet. Experts pointed out that if the United States becomes the major shareholder, it may affect TSMC's operational decisions, and even compress Taiwan's local investment and supply chain energy, impacting the existing operating model. However, some scholars believe that the shareholding can make TSMC more closely connected to the USAI industry chain, increase order visibility, and enhance Taiwan's geopolitical strength. The Ministry of Economic Affairs stated that if it involves shareholding, TSMC must apply to the Investment Review Committee in accordance with the law, and the government will fully assess the impact. News Highlights Line announced the termination of the Chrome web version service in September, triggering a backlash from the visually impaired because this version is one of the few communication channels they can use on computers. Although Line's response will be postponed to the first half of 2026 and plans to develop accessibility features for the computer version, the visually impaired are still worried that it will be difficult to change the situation of being ignored. Experts pointed out that Line is already the living infrastructure of Taiwanese people, and companies should take into account social responsibility, and the government also needs to promote the institutionalization of digital equality to prevent the rights and interests of vulnerable groups from becoming well-intentioned vassals of enterprises. This incident highlights Taiwan's lagging behind the international community in digital accessibility, and institutional reform is urgent. News highlights affected by the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar and the 20+N tariffs on Taiwan by the United States, Taiwan's export-oriented traditional industries are under pressure. Bicycle fork factory Yahua Industry announced that factory operations will end at the end of 2025, existing inventory will be sold at a 60% discount, and orders for out-of-stock products will stop accepting. Machine tool manufacturer Takaizawa Technology has been taking a fixed holiday every Friday since August, initially lasting 3 months, to adjust working hours in response to economic fluctuations. The industry generally responds to the challenges of the downturn through inventory clearance and flexible working hours. News highlights the United States plans to exchange chip subsidies for equity, targeting semiconductor giants such as TSMC, Micron, and Samsung that have set up factories in the United States, ostensibly for national security and supply chain stability, but the actual intention may be to promote the integration of TSMC's U.S. factory and Intel wafer foundry to create USMC. The Trump administration hopes to establish a fully American wafer foundry capability to ensure the needs of local Qualcomm, Nvidia, Apple, etc. Although this move will help Intel's wafer foundry development, the industry is concerned that TSMC's U.S. subsidiary may gradually become independent, affecting the status and decision-making leadership of Taiwan's headquarters. News highlights financial analyst Whitney warned that the polarized economy of the U.S. economy dominated by high-end consumers may pose risks, predicting that more than half of households will face a second wave of unemployment recession, especially the hotel and leisure industries, which are the most vulnerable, and employees with an annual salary of less than $6 will bear the brunt. She pointed out that rising unemployment and stagnant inflation may occur at the same time, and $1 stores will be impacted, while Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart are more resistant to pressure because most of their customers are homeowners. In terms of the housing market, sluggish sales of existing homes and supply locked up by homeowners over 55 years old have caused a shortage of affordable housing, which may further exacerbate economic problems. News highlights the large-scale search by ICE in the United States for undocumented immigrants has raised concerns among economists that the impact on the U.S. economy may exceed tariff policies. Nobel Prize winner in economics Krugman pointed out that undocumented immigrants account for about 5% of the U.S. workforce, concentrated in industries such as agriculture, meat processing, elderly care and construction. If a large number of migrant workers are imprisoned or repatriated, not only may agricultural production be paralyzed, but labor shortages will push up inflation, causing prices to rise, and the overall economic damage may be more serious than a 0.5 percentage point drop in labor supply. News highlights Taiwan High-Speed Rail announced the introduction of a new generation train N700ST, based on Japan's Shinkansen N700S localized design, which will start painting as soon as the end of this year, arrive in Taiwan in 2026, and be put into operation in 2027. The exterior continues the orange and black color scheme of the 700T and the white front, and the interior is equipped with full-color information display, rechargeable seats, double-layer luggage racks, and improves noise reduction and comfort. Barrier-free facilities have also been strengthened, with wheelchair seats increased to 6 and a hand-washing station installed in the nursing room. After the launch of 12 trains, peak capacity is estimated to increase by about 25%, bringing a more comfortable and convenient travel experience. News highlights the White House plans to invest in major semiconductor manufacturers through subsidies for shares, and Global Crystal, 6488, may become another beneficiary of Taiwan. The industry pointed out that unlike TSMC, the U.S. stake in Global Crystal will help it expand its supply and increase order volume, because Global Crystal has 3 advanced silicon wafer factories in the United States, and the United States lacks local high-end silicon wafer suppliers. The expansion plan is about $3.5 billion, and it is expected to receive a $4.06 billion subsidy from the CHIP Act. If Global Crystal becomes its own people, U.S. companies such as Intel may significantly increase purchases and strengthen the supply chain of US-made silicon wafers. News highlights artist Huang Zijiao was sentenced to 8 months in prison and fined 10 yuan in the first trial for being involved in the purchase and download of indecent images of minors on the Creative Private Forum. Recently, he shaved his head and wore a wig and gold-rimmed glasses to appear in court, driving a 346 yuan Mercedes to send his daughter back to a 1.2 billion yuan mansion in Zhongshan district, and he went to a private space worth 4,300 yuan next to it. After divorcing his ex-wife Meng Zhengru, it is rumored that he intends to sell his mansion and vehicles to cash out funds, and his life and image continue to be adjusted in a low-key manner. News highlights Major General Tang Ming of the Military Police Command was exposed to family scandal, saying that his mother was not supported by him during her lifetime, and was mainly taken care of by her siblings. After the death of his mother, Tang Ming sued his two nieces for embezzling deposits and fighting for inheritance, which caused strong dissatisfaction between the siblings and even wanted to recover 15 years of alimony expenses. The mother recorded a video before her death to authorize her granddaughter to use the account funds, which became their legal certificate. Tang Ming refuted, emphasizing that he had paid filial piety fees and took his mother on a trip, denying that he had not fulfilled his responsibility to support him. News highlights a large-scale rockfall collapsed on the slope of Taiwan Line 733K, Luofu to the back mountain section, about 30 meters long and 15 meters high, causing road interruptions. Daowen City Fuxing District Office announced that the back mountain Sanli, Jieyi, Sangguang, Hualing, will be suspended today, and the Happiness Bus will be suspended, calling on the public not to go unless necessary. News highlights former anchor Sui Lanping was accused of sexual harassment by a male osteopath, which he solemnly denied, and issued a non-suicide statement on Facebook to clear himself. Sui Lanping said that the incident originated from the doctor-patient relationship nearly 6 years ago, and the other party recently broke the news accusing him of illegal acts, and even hyped it when he climbed Mount Everest and returned to Taiwan for treatment, seriously slandering his social image. He emphasized that these allegations have no evidence and have entered the judicial process, calling on the other party to file a complaint if they really feel harassed, and reminding themselves and the public to pay attention to safety. News highlights Tropical Depression TD15 is located about 1,010 kilometers northeast of Taipei in the early hours of this morning, with a central pressure of 1,006 HPA and a maximum wind speed of 15 meters per second, moving northeast at 8 kilometers per hour. The Meteorological Administration pointed out that TD15 may intensify into a mild typhoon as soon as today or tomorrow, approaching Kyushu, Japan, and is expected to make landfall near Nagasaki, Kumamoto or Kagoshima, with no direct impact on Taiwan. The Kyushu region will be affected by its residual circulation, bringing significant rainfall. News highlights U.S. President Trump posted on social platforms criticizing green energy policies, saying that wind and solar power generation have led to record high electricity costs, pointing out that green energy is the scam of the century. He said that the United States will no longer approve new wind power generation and solar power generation projects that destroy farmland in the future, emphasizing that it will not continue to support related energy projects. News highlights Internet celebrity curator Chen Haihan has appeared on China's CCTV many times due to his pro-China stance, but he was banned from doing business by China, and Bilibili and Douyin accounts could not be opened. He questioned whether the reason was related to tattoos or swearing, but Hu Keiping pointed out that the main reason is that China's speech is strictly controlled, and opening an account must be guaranteed with a Chinese ID card or someone else. Hu cited China's severe punishment for online violations, reminding curators that they may not be able to participate in military parades, and pointed out that understanding the Chinese system requires multiple personal contacts. News highlights the Central Meteorological Administration said that the tropical depression TD15, which was originally located in the western sea of Kyushu, Japan, has intensified into a mild typhoon Lingling, number 12, at 8 a.m. today, 21st, and is predicted to move towards Kyushu and has no direct impact on Taiwan. The center of the typhoon is located at 32.0 degrees north latitude and 129.2 degrees east longitude, moving east at a speed of 8 km per hour, with a central pressure of 1002 HPA, a maximum wind speed of 18 meters per second near the center, a gust of 25 meters per second, and a radius of about 60 kilometers of level 7 winds. Experts pointed out that the typhoon is moving eastward and continues to weaken, but its residual circulation will bring significant rainfall to Kyushu. News highlights the Trump administration is rumored to be exchanging subsidies under the U.S. CHIP Act for TSMC's equity, and the industry has described TSMC as facing a perfect storm. If the United States invests in the company, it may affect the company's independence, increase geopolitical risks, accelerate the flow of technology and talent to the United States, and may impact subsidies and surplus distribution. The Secretary of Commerce said the subsidy will still be distributed, but the government wants to return taxpayers through equity. The semiconductor industry believes that if conditions continue to change, TSMC may choose not to receive subsidies to maintain independent operations. News highlights the Ministry of Economic Affairs clarified that the media misreported that Minister Guo Zhihui wanted to manipulate the exchange rate to maintain 31 yuan. Guo pointed out in response to questions in the legislative yuan that the average of the new Taiwan dollar against the US dollar in the past 6 years is about 31 yuan, which only reflects the expectations of some operators for the stabilization of the exchange rate, not a policy goal or suggestion, emphasizing that the exchange rate cannot be manipulated. The Ministry of Economic Affairs stated that the exchange rate is determined by the supply and demand of the foreign exchange market, and will continue to assist enterprises in reducing exchange rate and operational risks through the Task Force on Assisting Industries in Responding to Exchange Rate Changes. News highlights diabetes is one of the top 10 causes of death in Taiwan, with nearly 10,000 deaths every year, and the number of patients is about 2 million and continues to increase. Nutritionist Zhang Yuxi pointed out that diabetes is mainly due to insulin resistance or insufficient secretion, rather than simply eating sugar. High GI foods and foods with hidden sugars can also increase the risk, such as white rice, white toast, GI value 80 to 100, sugar-free hand-cranked drinks, creamer, flour balls are high in calories, salty crispy chicken, fried batter produces ages, and various sauces, containing sugar or thickening starch. Blood sugar control should avoid these not sweet but high-risk foods. News highlights Taiwanese Atayal female singer Qian Beiwei, Zhong Langzhen, died of a sudden illness in Beijing on August 19 at the age of 62. Qian Beiwei became famous in 1984 with the album Silk Rain Alley, and in the 80s, she became popular on both sides of the Taiwan Strait and Southeast Asia with songs such as When I Miss You and Walking Through the Coffee House. She went to Beijing in 1991 to develop, and later became a Chinese citizen, temporarily left the music scene for her family, made a comeback in 2003, and ended her marriage in 2012. Qian Beiwei was originally scheduled to perform on the 23rd to bid farewell to the stage, but her son and friend Huang'an have posted a message confirming the bad news, and fans are grieving. News highlights in the extraordinary meeting of the new Taipei City Council, the DPP caucus proposed to return taxes to the people, suggesting that 4.6 yuan in cash be distributed to citizens and establish an industrial recovery team, but was opposed by the Kuomintang caucus. The DPP said that the city government has abundant financial resources, which can give back to citizens and stimulate domestic demand. The Kuomintang pointed out that New Taipei's long-term central subsidies were insufficient, criticizing the DPP for exaggerating claims that it had decided to distribute them. The city government responded that it still needs to be studied and discussed, and last year it still lost 48 billion yuan, with a cumulative loss of 887 billion yuan, and the finances are not sufficient. News highlights hypertension is mostly caused by primary factors and is closely related to lifestyle and eating habits, with about 90% of patients improving through dietary control, exercise, and weight management. Most hypertension has no obvious symptoms and is not detected until it triggers a stroke, myocardial infarction, or aortic dissection, so it is called the silent killer. Abdominal obesity, insulin resistance, dyslipidemia, and high blood sugar are at higher risk. Weight loss of 5%-10% can improve blood vessel function and blood pressure. Regular blood pressure measurement, diet control, regular exercise, and good sleep and stress management should be measured regularly. News highlights TSMC was shocked to hear that internal secrets were leaked to Japanese semiconductor supplier TEL, which attracted global attention. Japan's chip national team Rapidus plans to mass-produce 2nm chips in 2027 with high government funding, and the technology is mainly licensed by IBM. Although Rapidus has government and corporate support, it faces challenges such as technology gaps, talent shortages, yield and customer uncertainties. In the face of fierce global semiconductor competition, the success or failure of Rapidus is regarded as a key test for Japan's semiconductor revival and national strategic autonomy. News highlights the 10th Army Corps conducted towed missile live-fire training for the first time at the North Bank Station of Daejiaxi in Taichung, adopting the where the troops are, where the shooting is mode. The training uses US-made TOW-2 BRF missiles, which have a range of up to 4,500 meters and have top attack capabilities to enhance anti-armor and beach defense capabilities. The military also cooperated with the Gendarmerie and Coast Guard to maintain the safety of the surrounding area and ensure the smooth progress of the shooting mission. News highlights Taiwan High-Speed Rail will implement a new system of quiet carriages from September 22, prohibiting passengers from talking on the phone in the carriage, must move to the entrance of the train, and require the use of headphones when listening to music or watching videos to maintain the quiet quality of the ride. There will be a 3-month persuasion period in the early stage, and if passengers repeatedly refuse to listen, the high-speed rail can refuse to carry or terminate the transportation contract. Shi Zhet, chairman of the high-speed rail, said that this measure is the same as Japan's Shinkansen regulations, with the aim of ensuring the rest and comfort of other passengers and maintaining the brand image of the high-speed rail. News highlights the White House plans to exchange subsidies for shares in Samsung Electronics and other chip companies, a move that has caused unease in the industry, fearing that it may weaken corporate autonomy and affect exporters. Samsung and SK Hynix have invested tens of billions of dollars to build factories in the United States, and if the subsidy is converted into equity, the United States will hold about 1.6% of Samsung's market capitalization, which may require approval from the South Korean government. The White House said this is a return on investment rather than a right to governance, and is considering expanding the model to other chip factories, but experts believe that foreign companies have limited motivation, and if they refuse, the United States may use this to circumvent subsidy commitments, causing controversy over industry discrimination. News highlights a drunken man in Hsinchu City went berserk after being refused to borrow a toilet from a breakfast shop, smashed the store and beat the clerk. After the incident was exposed, the Google comments of the Southgate police station were bombarded and changed to name abuse, and the location information could not be searched. The Hsinchu City Police Department publicly apologized on the 20th, admitting that it had been mishandled and will hold relevant personnel accountable. News highlights the promotion of the annual blockbuster Taiwanese film sequel Jiaodu, Overtake was exposed, and Gao Ji, Wang Xixian, Wu Nianqian, and Bai Jishan were interviewed. Wang Xixian reached a new peak in his career because of his performance as a loving and righteous brother Ren, and was once given women's underwear by a female fan, and he humorously responded to ask the other party to calm down. He is also called the national husband by fans and often sends food to care for fans. Gao Ji uses the role of noble director to persuade filial piety to his parents and love his daughter outside the play. The sequel focuses on the strategy and brotherhood between the bosses, and Wang Xixian will also show the complex emotions of brother Ren facing regret in his younger brother. News highlights the stage king Aaron Kwok and Fang Yuan have 2 daughters since they got married in 2017, and this year there is good news that they are pregnant again, and they will soon be upgraded to a family of 5. Fang Yuan held her pregnant belly and still personally accompanied her 2 daughters on a trip, and shared warm interactive photos of mother and daughter on the community, in which the picture of the 2 women kissing their pregnant bellies was sweet. She wrote, "I will take you with me wherever I go and seize the end of the holiday." It shows a happy family daily life and attracts a large number of netizens. News highlights Japanese swimming legend Kazuki Kitajima, known as the Japanese Frog King, won consecutive gold medals at the 2004 and 2008 Olympics, and was inducted into the International Swimming Hall of Fame in 2023. After retiring, he moved to real estate and married female singer Chisa in 2013. However, according to the weekly Bunshan report, this spring, Kazuki Kitajima and Ginza female publicist Azi broke out an affair, and the 2 dated frequently, and were even photographed entering a luxury apartment late at night to spend the spring supper together. News highlights 65-year-old senior media personality Sui Lanping was accused by a weekly magazine of sexually harassing a male osteopath, and developed a physiological reaction in the process. In this regard, Sui Lanping strongly denied it, claiming that the incident was fabricated, and issued a non-suicide statement on Facebook, refuting the accusations of sexual harassment, and at the same time countering the strong background of the osteopath and related people with the intention of retaliation, alleging that he had been deliberately hyped up when he was hospitalized due to altitude sickness, seriously damaging his 40-year media reputation. The case has entered the judicial process, and he reminded the public to choose medical units carefully to avoid unfounded accusations. News highlights Atile singer Qian Beiwei, Zhong Langzhen, passed away at the age of 62 due to a sudden illness, and his son Gao Luan confirmed the obituary through Weibo and will hold a farewell ceremony at the Dongjiao Funeral Home in Chaoyang District, Beijing on August 23. Qian Beiwei became popular on both sides of the Taiwan Strait in the 80s with songs such as When I Miss You and Walking Through the Coffee House, and was married to Chinese musician Gao Dalan and had a son. In her later years, she revealed that her son's name meant the early reunification of the 2 sides of the strait and expressed patriotic feelings, which caused dissatisfaction among some Taiwanese netizens. News highlights Sun Zizi and Xia Yatong, who is 10 years younger, have been in love for 6 years, and registered their marriage on March 3 this year. A few days ago, Xia Yatong wore loose clothes and a slightly bulging lower abdomen during the recording, and was directly pregnant by the host Su Nailan, who made her hurriedly touch her belly to deny it. The agent also responded to the media that she is indeed not pregnant at the moment, and emphasized that the denial was not because 3 months cannot be said. News highlights Soda Green and his former agent Lin Weige continued to be in a lawsuit over embezzlement of tour remuneration and owed 4.7 billion yuan in copyright fees, and Lin had to pay 2,355 yuan in the first trial, but he refused to pay the appeal. Soda Green said that pursuing a judicial judgment is not for money, but to hope that the other party will sincerely apologize and donate the final compensation to charity to turn it into a positive force. The team members also donated 100 yuan to the 2025 Taiwan City Women's Football Invitational Tournament in a low-key manner, showing their goodwill to give back to the society. News highlights the ghost month of the 7th lunar month officially begins at 23 o'clock on August 22, and folklore expert Yang Dengsong reminds the public to pay attention to the 5 major taboos when dressing, especially the 4 zodiac signs of snakes, pigs, tigers, and monkeys. During the ghost month, you should avoid all black, white, and red clothing, avoid exposed or off-the-shoulder clothing, ripped clothes, wedding dresses, and disheveled hair, so as not to attract good brothers or be caught alternately. News highlights the Mainland Affairs Council and the Ministry of Culture investigated more than 20 Taiwanese artists for cooperating in promoting reunification. Remarks such as Taiwan must return in China, causing controversy over dwarfing Taiwan. Some artists only responded with unclear and meaningless, but the official emphasized that they could not shirk responsibility, and more than 10 people have received replies, and the rest who do not reply will be deemed to have given up the explanation. If it is found to be illegal, a fine of 10 to 50 yuan may be imposed. The Ministry of Culture reiterated that it will handle it in accordance with the law, and at the same time pay attention to the situation of artists in China to avoid being used by the United Front. The whole incident highlights Taiwan's strict attitude towards artists' political stance and the protection of national sovereignty. News highlights a 63-year-old woman surnamed Wang in Yulan fell into a valley on the 13th and was rescued, but died in a fire at her farmhouse 3 days later, which is full of suspicions. The fire only affected the sofa in the living room, less than 3 square meters, but caused serious burns all over the body, and there were no combustible aids at the scene and no signs of escape. The autopsy of the prosecutor and police found that the body and the cup before death were suspected of having drug reactions, and external intervention was preliminarily ruled out, but the cause of death is still to be clarified. Forensic Dr. Gao Dachan pointed out 2 major doubts. One is the source of the fire, which is the place of death, but there are no signs of escape. The second is that there are drug particles in the stomach, and the time is unusual, and it is speculated that he may be in a coma, give up escape, or even rule out homicide. News highlights the Mainland Affairs Council and the Ministry of Culture investigated more than 20 Taiwanese artists for forwarding United Front graphics and texts such as "Taiwan must return" in China, causing controversy over dwarfing Taiwan. Some artists only responded with "no meaning, unclear," but the official emphasized that blame should not be shirked, and more than 10 people have replied, and the rest who do not reply will be deemed to have given up. If it is confirmed that it is illegal, it can be fined up to 50 yuan. The Ministry of Culture emphasizes handling according to the law, while paying attention to the situation of artists in China to avoid being used as a tool for the United Front. The incident reflects the government's stance on safeguarding national sovereignty and also shows the sensitive pressure faced by Taiwanese artists in cross-strait development. News highlights according to the latest data from the Japan Meteorological Agency, Tropical Depression TD15 has strengthened into Typhoon number 12 Lingling, and is expected to make landfall near Kyushu, Japan today and tomorrow, bringing heavy rainfall to the local area. Experts reminded that although another tropical disturbance in the east of the Philippines has been concerned for a while and may affect Taiwan, the latest model shows that the probability of developing into a typhoon has decreased, and the path continues to move south, coupled with the impact of strong wind shear, which is not conducive to development and has no direct threat to Taiwan. Overall, there is no risk of 2 typhoons dancing together in Taiwan in the short term, but it is still necessary to pay attention to subsequent weather changes. News highlights People's Party Chairman Huang Qiuqing was praised by supporters for being honest and not restrictive, but he was revealed by the internet celebrity Four-Pronged Cat to open live broadcasts at least twice after being elected, one of which earned 11 yuan, causing controversy. A small grass refused to bet 5,000 yuan with a Four-Pronged Cat, but after the evidence was exposed, he was still willing to gamble and lose, but did not directly shake the Four-Pronged Cat, but donated to the Stray Animals Association and the Gay Hotline respectively. The Four-Pronged Cat laughed and said that he originally wanted to take it to a big meal, but it was good to do public welfare. This matter sparked heated discussions on the internet, with netizens praising Xiaoko for being at least trustworthy, and some people said that they were more trustworthy than national onions. News highlights the Ministry of Sports will be officially unveiled on September 9, and the candidate for the first minister has attracted much attention. According to exclusive news from People's TV News, senior officials in the sports industry revealed that 2-time Olympic badminton gold medalist and 30-year-old former badminton player Li Yang will serve as minister. The current director of sports, Zhang Shizhong, will be transferred to the position of Deputy Minister of State. After Guo Tingchun, who had a high voice before, declined to take office, the executive yuan targeted Li Yang, believing that his image was fresh and eye-catching, which met President Li Qing's expectations. The current list is almost finalized, but Li Yang's agent responded that he has not yet received an official notice. News highlights internet celebrity curator Chen Zhihan was once known for his strong anti-communist image, but in recent years, he has repeatedly gone to China to open live broadcasts and praised China's scientific and technological development. However, he blew himself up yesterday, 19th, and was listed as a special element by Chinese officials, unable to open Douyin and Bilibili accounts in his name, and even restricted from watching the military parade, which made him bluntly sad. The curator also revealed that the total compensation for live broadcasting and travel to China is about 400 yuan. The outside world speculates that his remarks insulting Xi Jinping and Peng Laiwan in the live broadcast 5 years ago may be the main reason for the ban. The curator emphasized that he has not made any money from China and does not plan to go to China to broadcast in the future. News highlights Tang Mingde, spokesman for the Major General of the Military Police Command, was accused by relatives of not raising a cancer mother but fighting for money due to his family's dispute over property, causing controversy in public opinion. Tang's mother died of illness at the end of 2024 and was taken care of by her eldest sister and younger brother for many years, but after her mother's death, Tang accused her niece of misappropriating her savings and even demanded that medical and funeral expenses be settled item by item. The family angrily pointed out that he had little interaction with his mother, and even only let his mother sleep on the sofa during the Chinese New Year, and recorded a video early before his death to explain that his granddaughter could use the account to pay for expenses. Tang Ming clarified that he had provided filial piety for many years, and also prepared a sofa bed for the Chinese New Year, denying unfilial piety. The two sides were at a stalemate, and the family threatened to file a counter-lawsuit if they did not withdraw the lawsuit to recover years of care expenses. News highlights Tainan internet celebrity Brother AJ, Cao Weijuo, made a name for himself with Brother AJ Is Your Love and attracted more than 60 fans on Douyin. Recently, he revealed in an interview that he had been imprisoned for drug infection, admitting that he was impetuous after making money and mistakenly believed that the driver was doped with cigarettes and went astray. Brother AJ recalled that there were very few visitors to the prison during his sentence, and the only one present except for his mother and sister was his current wife, the beautiful store manager of the year, which deeply moved him and made him determined to pursue and marry her after being released from prison. Now he is actively involved in public welfare, considering himself the first person to do public welfare on Douyin live broadcast, and also thanks his wife for supporting him all the way and accompanying him back to the right path. News highlights Taiwanese actress Xu Zikan, Nikita, returned to the American cheerleading team Luxie Girls as the captain, and recently caused controversy by private messages for humiliating netizens who criticized the girls' cool uniforms as ugly and terrifying. After the incident, she argued with netizens in the message area, and publicly apologized the next day, admitting that the line of reason is broken and should not be personally attacked by others, emphasizing that she will be cautious in her words and deeds in the future. However, the original Po believed that the apology was too late and did not plan to accept it, and called for an end to online personal attacks. This incident sparked discussions among netizens about the emotional management and etiquette of public figures. News highlights this year's first day of the 7th lunar month, August 23rd, ushered in the traditional ghost door opening, and folk believe that ghosts will roam the world during this period. Numerologist Yang Dengsong reminded the public that they should choose safe and bright places when going out during the ghost month, and avoid cemeteries, hospitals, abandoned buildings, and other places with heavy yin energy. Clothing should avoid all black, white, or all red and revealing clothing, and pay attention to neat appearance. The zodiac signs of snake, pig, tiger, and monkey are particularly prone to bad magnetic fields this year, so they need to be extra cautious. Following taboos can increase your peace of mind and make your life easier. News highlights Aboriginal singer Qian Beiwei died of a sudden illness in Beijing in the early morning of the 19th. Qian Beiwei has been singing since high school, and has sung many of Liu Jiacheng's golden songs, including When I Miss You and Walking Through the Coffee House, and filmed MVS and movies Old Love. After she went to the mainland to develop, she settled in Beijing for love and had a son, and moved to Chengdu to perform after divorce in 2020. After New Year's Day this year, the community was not updated, and his friend Huang mourned and lamented that they had known each other for 47 years, and his son confirmed the news that the farewell ceremony will be held at the funeral home in the eastern suburbs of Beijing on the 23rd. News highlights 2025 Taiwan Michelin Guide announced that a total of 53 restaurants in Taiwan have received stars this year, with Taipei accounting for the majority and Taichung 5 stores, 4 stores in Kaohsiung. Tainan has not made the list for 4 consecutive years, but there are still 30 stores selected for the Bib Gourmand Recommendation Intermediate. Tainan Fan Special Tainan Style said that Tainan people have never cared about Michelin stars, but pay more attention to the characteristics of snacks. Tainan restaurant Niu Wuzang was selected again, causing heated discussions. 14 pieces of zucchini for 880 yuan was criticized as expensive, but now it has been recognized by Michelin, and netizens ridiculed French cuisine for attaching importance to plating and evaluation. News highlights on the border road between Puebla and Tlaxcala in central Mexico, 6 decapitated male bodies were discovered on the 19th, with bloodstains on the cloth strips and threatening messages, signed La Barradora, suspected to be related to gang liquidation. The police pointed out that the skin on the deceased's face was severely peeled off, and an investigation has been launched into the case. Although the area has long been considered relatively safe, there have been many reports of abandoned corpses at the border in recent months. Experts warn that gang violence in Mexico is spreading to more areas, and since the 2006 anti-drug operation, related violence has killed about 48 people and disappeared 13 people. News highlights 58-year-old actress Kuang Mingjia made her debut with the girl group City Girl, and later transformed into a host in drama, and her popularity is stable. She revealed that she had been burdened with debts at home for many years, and only disclosed the progress of debt repayment at the beginning of this year, and finally celebrated the new year with peace of mind. She has rarely appeared on the screen recently, causing fans to doubt, but she clarified that she still loves acting and is just waiting for the production unit's invitation. During her break, she continued to exercise, dance and take photos to maintain her physical fitness and condition, and encouraged fans to wait patiently, emphasizing that exercise and maintenance make life more positive. News highlights former Sistar member Yu Shai was known as Master of Ambiguity and Figure Rogue for hosting love variety shows and outstanding appearance. For the new song PDA, she lost 10 kilograms by making her homemade cucumber boat in half a year. The method is simple, Peel the cucumber and cut it in half, hollow out the middle, add shredded chicken breast or canned tuna, and add low-fat sauce. Cucumbers are low in calories, high in water, and rich in dietary fiber, making them refreshing and satiating. It is recommended to eat it before meals or late-night snacks to increase satiety, control calories, and use high-protein ingredients to lose weight healthily. News highlights: in the 7th month of the lunar calendar, the gates of hell open, and there are also taboos on makeup to avoid yin energy. Experts recommend avoiding bright red or blood red lipstick, dark eyeshadow, sharp eyebrow shapes, and excessive sequins and metallic makeup, and instead use pinkish-orange lip colors, earthy or warm eyeshadows, rounded eyebrow shapes, and delicate pearlescent or matte makeup. These careful devices not only comply with traditional taboos but also maintain a natural and bright makeup, which is both safe and pleasing, stabilizing the overall aura and avoiding bad luck. News highlights: Taichung number 127 bus yesterday, 20th, afternoon broke out because students did not raise their hands at the stop sign. The driver used the microphone to scold the Xiaoming Girls Middle School student for not even raising his hand every time, and the student asked, "Is it possible for someone to raise the handful and the car will stop?" The verbal battle between the two sides lasted for about 5 minutes, which caused dissatisfaction and interference among passengers in the back seat. After the video was exposed, it sparked heated discussions among netizens, most of whom supported the students in reporting the driver and criticized the driver for cursing at the driver while driving. There are also opinions that drivers may be troubled for a long time and lose control of their emotions. News highlights: the well-known American warm-hearted judge Frank Caprio. Frank Caprio became popular on the internet with his humorous and empathetic judgments, and was affectionately called Grandpa Judge by fans. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2013 and passed away at the age of 88. Frank was loved for his compassion, humor, and belief in the goodness of human nature, and was not only a respected judge but also a dedicated husband, father, grandfather, and friend. He has shown compassion for the vulnerable in court, touching his judgments that have touched millions of people, leaving a legacy of warmth and goodwill. News highlights: on the evening of the 20th of the Daidao Keng Summer Festival in Taipei, a conflict broke out at the Zhongxiao Pier in Sankong, New Taipei. A woman surnamed Wu grabbed the hair of a woman surnamed Lu, causing Lu to fall and scuffle Lin Nan with her husband. After the police arrived at the scene, they fined 3 people in accordance with the law and the social security law, and the two sides went to the hospital for an examination of injuries. The incident was caused by a dispute over the viewing location and pushing after the fireworks, and a maximum fine of 18,000 yuan could be imposed. News highlights: when the elderly in a family in Hongxing Town, Fuyang, Anhui Province, China, were dying, the town government staff came to the door and demanded immediate cremation, causing family members to angrily denounce people are still alive. The government explained that at that time, it was to promote the funeral reform policy and introduce free body transportation, cremation, and ashes storage services, and not compulsory cremation. After the incident was exposed, it caused widespread criticism from netizens, who believed that the publicity policy for the elderly before their deaths was outdated, causing trouble and pressure to their families. News highlights: Meng Ting, the distant cousin of former female F4 member Amy, debuted for half a year, and supported her family by working part-time when she was a student, working as an etiquette teacher, a high-altitude rope operator and a partner in opening a stir-fry restaurant. She has worked in the funeral industry for more than 2 years, with a monthly salary of about 2 yuan, and was scolded for accidentally putting her family in the freezer, but she still completed her work with respect. She also challenged high-altitude rope work and overcame her fear of heights for 3 years. Now Meng Ting earns about 3 yuan a month by hosting in the internet industry, but the expenses are too high to save money, hoping to accumulate works and get more job opportunities. News highlights: internet celebrity Four-Pronged Cat broke the news on Facebook on the 21st that Huang Qiaoking had a piece of land in his name given to a man surnamed Huang who was born abroad and had the 3rd digit of his ID number 7. He speculated that this person may be Huang Qiaoking's youngest son and questioned whether he had American citizenship, further concerned whether he might go to the United States with his relatives if an accident occurred in Taiwan. The Four-Pronged Cat also emphasized that the nationality of sons and grandsons is a private matter, but this matter has aroused attention and discussion about the family background of politicians. News highlights: fructose or high fructose corn syrup metabolism will produce uric acid, which increases oxidative stress, damages mitochondria, and reduces fat-burning efficiency. Dr. Lee recommends that people reduce sugary drinks and drink sugar-free tea or sparkling water instead to avoid accumulating health risks. News highlights: the U.S. Congress proposed the 6 Guarantees to Taiwan Act, H.R. 3452, which aims to enshrine the Reagan administration's 6 commitments to Taiwan into law and give Congress oversight powers to enhance policy stability. Wang Luzhong, a professor in the United States, pointed out that in the past, Taiwan-related bills were mostly symbolic and few were actually passed, but under the Trump administration's repeated policies, high tariffs on Taiwan exports, and delayed arms sales, legislation can provide stable guarantees when the situation in the Taiwan Strait is tense. The 6 guarantees emphasize that arms sales will not be stopped, cross-strait sovereignty will not be mediated, and negotiations will become an important pillar of U.S. Taiwan relations if implemented. News highlights the Executive Yuan will approve the total budget of the central government for next year, with an annual revenue of 2.8623 trillion yuan, an annual expenditure of 3.035 trillion yuan, and a revenue and expenditure gap of 1,727 billion yuan. The defense budget was 9,495 billion yuan, accounting for 3.32% of GDP, a record high, with military investment of 1,616 billion yuan, operations maintained at 1990 billion yuan, personnel maintained at 2,008 billion yuan, and retirement assistance and Coast Guard expenditure of 1,360 billion yuan. The special defense budget of 1,868 billion yuan is mainly used to improve new fighter jets and naval and air combat capabilities, reflecting the government's continued promotion of armament modernization and improving the combat effectiveness of the national army under regional security challenges. News highlights Taiwanese Atile singer Qian Beiwei, Zhong Langzhen, moved to the mainland in the past 30 years and obtained a local resident ID card. Yesterday, 20th, her friend Huang An confirmed that she passed away in Beijing at the age of 62. The agent revealed that her death was suspected of being a wrestling accident, and although she was in good health, she originally arranged multiple performances this year and planned to renew her contract. Qian Beiwei once said before his death that peace of mind is home and chose to stay in Chengdu to settle down. After the news came out, it sparked heated discussions, and Wen Lan also mourned her kindness and hearty laughter in the community. News highlights the U.S. Congress proposed the 6 Guarantees to Taiwan Act, H.R. 3452, which intends to include the Reagan-era commitments to Taiwan into law to provide policy stability when the situation in the Taiwan Strait is tense. Wang Luzhong, a professor in the United States, pointed out that although most of the Taiwan-related bills are symbolic, the 6 guarantee bills are still of great significance, giving Congress the power to supervise and requiring the executive branch to report before taking action. Over the past 50 years, the U.S. policy toward Taiwan has been more cautious, but the recent controversy over the Trump administration's tariffs, arms sales, and diplomatic measures against Taiwan will become key to maintaining stability in U.S. Taiwan relations if implemented. News highlights actress Guo Suifo debuted 17 years ago. With her sweet and cool temperament and short hairstyle, she has become a signature, and has won the FHM Taiwan Top 100 Beauty Championship. Recently, she appeared at a brand event with long straight black hair and a flower dress, and her feminine style made many netizens unable to recognize her at the first time. During the event, she also challenged the popular shoulder-shaking dance, showing the contrast and cuteness of childlike innocence. The video went viral on social platforms, sparking discussions, and some people had different comments on her appearance change, but some netizens supported her, believing that she was still beautiful, but her style was different. News highlights the prevalence of online shopping in Taiwan has also become the target of fraud groups. Recently, some people have received text messages from supermarkets picking up goods, and the content may be a scam if the word matching appears, with an amount of 1,100 to 1,500 yuan. If the sender marks non-seller, agency, logistics company, customs broker, express, or the consignment note only has a line ID, and uses earthy yellow tape, do not sign for it to avoid being deceived. News highlights affected by Beijing's plan to regulate the petrochemical industry. The market believes that the industrial structure can be optimized and price competition can be reduced, and Formosa Plastics Cibao and related plasticizer stocks rose on the 21st. Formosa Plastics, Nanya, etc. rose by more than 38%, driving Tejo and Delta to rise by more than 5%. China plans to phase out outdated production capacity, upgrade facilities, and invest in high-value-added materials, which will be implemented as soon as September, with the goal of improving overcapacity and supply-demand imbalances. Formosa Plastics pointed out that policies are conducive to supply and demand, but it is still necessary to pay attention to the impact of China's production capacity and U.S. economic development on demand. News highlights Taiwan stocks were led by TSMC on the 21st, and electronic weight stocks such as Honhai and Mediatek strengthened, and the market approached 24,000 points intraday. With the support of policy themes, the robot community has become the highlight of the market. Premier Zhou Rongta announced that the government will invest hundreds of billions of yuan to build Taiwan into a global AI robot supply chain center, and plans Tainan Luiying Intelligent Robot Park, Shalun Research Center, and Liujia Innovation Application Center. Linjiang's new generation of C5 AI chips will be designed in mid-2026, targeting the sweeping robots, drones, and self-propelled robot markets, driving a new wave of growth in the industry. News highlights in response to the excise tax exemption policy for sugar-free drinks, Carrefour has reduced the price of designated unified sugar-free tea drinks since August 22, with a discount of 10 yuan for purchases over 199 yuan, and launched a variety of drinks with buy one get one free, 2-piece discounts and 10 times points in combination with the Zhong Yuan Pudu schedule. During the event period until September 9, 300 million yuan of rebates will be invested at the same time, and 3 waves of 90% off are planned. 7-Eleven also lowered the price of sugar-free drinks at the same time. The industry believes that tax cuts and promotions will help stimulate beverage sales and visitors. News highlights the entry of international technology giant Huida into Bishike has attracted attention to the housing market, but the latest statistics show that the rise in housing prices is mainly concentrated in the Bishike area. From May to August, the average price of Bishike reached 119.4 yuan, a slight increase of 4.8% from the beginning of the year, and the Zhenzhou May section hit a regional high of 144.8 yuan. Baita District, Shilin District, and Sankong District mostly fell or rose slightly, and Tomsui District only rose slightly by 8.2%. According to the analysis of Housing Exhibition magazine, the spillover of the Huida effect is limited, the residential development space of Bishike is limited, the housing prices in the core area are still stable, and there is still a high potential for new brand projects on Wenlin North Road in the future. News highlights Taiwan stocks have been volatile recently, falling 728 points yesterday, 20th, and foreign investors sold more than 626 billion yuan, rebounding more than 300 points intraday today, 21st. The market was pushed up by a slight cooling in U.S. inflation and expectations of interest rate cuts, but foreign chips were conservative and retail investors entered the market to increase volatility. Geopolitics and U.S. chip policy bring uncertainty, and there are still risks of a short-term rebound. Investment suggestions return to fundamentals, focusing on financially sound large-cap stocks in AI, PCB, robotics, biotechnology, and other theme stocks, and maintain liquidity and prudent risk control, with the index expected to fluctuate in the range of 23,800 to 24,500 points this week. News highlights Taiwan High-Speed Rail will revise the passenger transportation contract at the end of September, requiring passengers to wear headphones when using mobile phones or 3C products, and to go to the entrance to talk on the phone, in accordance with Japan's Shinkansen regulations. Violators who do not listen to persuasion may terminate the transportation contract in the most serious cases. Chairman Xi Zhe said that this move aims to maintain a quiet environment for riding and protect passengers' rights to rest and read, and there will be a 3-month publicity period after the announcement, and resources will be invested to strengthen publicity and self-discipline management. News highlights Minister of Economic Affairs Guo Zhihui said that he hopes the Taiwan dollar exchange rate will remain stable from now until before the Lunar New Year, close to the average of 31 yuan in the past 6 years, but the central bank responded that it could not commit to a specific exchange rate. Affected by foreign capital remittances, the Taiwan dollar depreciated by 0.62% yesterday to close at 30.308 yuan, a 3-month low. Guo Zhihui emphasized that the exchange rate is controllable and will help small and medium-sized enterprises cope with fluctuations, and pay attention to the impact of the exchange rate between Japan and South Korea and the tariff negotiations between the United States and Taiwan on the industry. The central bank reiterated that the exchange rate is determined by the market, and blindly setting targets may exacerbate volatility. News highlights the Lai government handed over the statement on the U.S. reciprocal tariffs, emphasizing that 20% is a temporary tariff rate and trying to avoid superposition, but the public is worried that there are still unexploded bombs in the negotiations. The 42-page user guide written by Trump's aide Miron pointed out that the United States will reshape global trade through tariffs, monetary policy, capital controls, and national security strategies, and the United States may require Taiwan to open its semiconductor and agricultural products in the short term, and use the depreciation of the dollar to strengthen exports and reduce debt. Experts question that under the changes in the global situation and the decline of U.S. national strength, whether Trump's blueprint can be implemented is still full of uncertainty. News highlights an indiscriminate attack occurred in the alleys of Taichung No. 1 Middle School in the early morning of the 16th, when a woman was riding a motorcycle to buy a late-night snack and was pushed by a shirtless man, kicked the bike and punched his head continuously. After the woman's family called the police, the transcript was not completed until 2 a.m. due to the busy police in charge, and the man was released after completing the transcript, causing public dissatisfaction and panic, and locals expressed concern about public security. News highlights the high-speed rail was criticized for being Taiwan Railway due to the crowding of free seats during peak hours during the holidays. Chairman Xi Zhe proposed reforms 2 months after taking office, planning to control the number of non-reserved seats during super peak hours, and may need to designate trains to reduce the occupation of reserved seat aisles by standing tickets. The public supports improving safety and comfort, but experts warn that accurate counting of people is needed, and fare control may also trigger a backlash. In addition, the high-speed rail will launch quiet carriages to limit phone calls, and the measures will be officially launched on September 22, and it remains to be seen whether the ride experience will be improved. News highlights the Executive Yuan will pass the 115th annual central government budget, with an annual revenue of 2.8623 trillion yuan, an annual expenditure of 3.35 trillion yuan, a deficit of 1,727 billion yuan, plus debt repayment of 1,265 billion yuan, and a total of 2,992 billion yuan of debt support. The national defense budget is 9,495 billion yuan, accounting for 3.32% of GDP, including the official budget, special funds, and expenditures of the Retirement Assistance Association and the Coast Guard. Next year's main expenditures include 389.4 billion yuan for health and welfare, 288.3 billion yuan for public construction, 166.5 billion yuan for science and technology development, and 117.9 billion yuan for balanced construction. News highlights: Internet celebrity curator Chen Zhihan recently went to Shenzhen and Macau, China for live broadcasting, and praised local construction and enterprises, but said that he lost millions of yuan in live broadcasts in China and could not open accounts on Douyin and Bilibili. Internet celebrity Chen Yi believes that the Chinese officials' rejection of the curator is reasonable because it has a black record for calling for Taiwan's independence in the past, which is not in line with the rules of the Chinese game. She pointed out that it is difficult for the curator to please both sides to succeed, and also reminded internet celebrities that their words and deeds need to leave a way out, otherwise both sides may lose. News highlights: the new Taipei City Animal Protection Office received a report from a supermarket and found that the package contained 2 red devil blood chow chow lizards from Guangzhou, China. The chow chow is native to Australia, with a gentle temperament and a body length of about 40 to 50 centimeters, and has become a popular pet in recent years. Experts remind that illegally imported animals may pose the risk of parasites or viruses, and will also impact the local ecology, calling on the public to confirm the legal source of breeding and abide by laws and regulations. News highlights: near a large shopping mall in Zhongli, Dawan, I was surprised to see a sika deer zhuang, and I was shopping leisurely and even ran to the middle of the road, almost hitting a motorcycle. Zhuang was born on a leisure farm 4 years ago, and was taken home by his owner because of his personality, and would go out for a walk at night. Experts remind that when encountering sika deer, you should keep your distance and do not feed them to avoid danger. Owners should also ensure safety and avoid allowing deer to move freely in the city and cause accidents. News highlights: Sun Zizi and Xia Yatong registered their marriage in March this year, but more than 5 months after their marriage, there was news that Xia Yatong might be pregnant. According to people familiar with the matter, she recently chatted with the same artist about pregnancy during the recording break, and her clothing was changed from close-fitting to loose clothing, which caused speculation from the outside world. Xia Yatong once said that she was not in a hurry to have children after marriage, but at the age of 37, if she became pregnant, she would still be an advanced child, and Sun Zizi was also 47 years old, and the two hoped to welcome a new life as soon as possible. News highlights: mainland actress Yu Shuxin was recently turned out 9 years ago in a variety show when Yu Shuxin publicly ridiculed Zhang Haoyu's appearance as like a spider spirit coming out of a silk hole, and threatened that I can beat her no matter what. He was accused of bullying. Recently, Zhang Haoyu liked comments on the community that alluded to Yu Shuxin's hurt her, which once again sparked discussion. Zhang Haoyu emphasized that the incident caused her long-term psychological trauma and opposed fans, defining it as a small episode for Yu Shuxin. The incident caused polarized discussions on the internet, with some netizens supporting Zhang Haoyu, believing that fan behavior constituted secondary harm, while others questioned that the program might have been maliciously edited. News highlights: the Taiwanese drama The Six of Us aired its finale last night, adapted from the 2004 Li Yuegui case, telling the story of the 6 brothers and sisters of the Lin family who grew up bravely despite family changes. Third brother Liu, who has been accompanying them in the play, died in the finale, and Lin Ziuyi went to the tomb to lay flowers to express his nostalgia. Inspired by a real event, Brother Lo died in a bicycle accident in 2017 at the age of 60. Actor Tang Zhengang revealed that he was moved to tears during the filming process, hoping that the audience would feel love and warmth, and was also encouraged to persist in helping each other in the face of difficulties. News highlights: when Thai actress ORM Kornafat, ORM, held an autograph session in Changsha, China on the 20th, the organizer Henan Yulingju Culture Media Co., Limited was suspected of maliciously overselling benefits and colluding with scalpers, and the event was chaotic. The incident caused anger among fans, and the school urgently sent a car to escort ORM away from the scene, and she also reported her safety on Weibo. Fans have launched a petition asking the organizers to apologize, calling on future artists to be cautious when going to China. News highlights: since South Korean actress Kim Tae-hee married King Rain in 2017, her drama works have decreased, but her beauty has remained unchanged. Recently, she appeared on Lu Quiz on the Block to share her family daily life, revealing that she and her husband Rain share the labor and childcare. She is busy preparing her daughter's school supplies, and her husband helps make breakfast at home. For the first time in the show, he humorously mentioned the appearance of his 2 daughters, using homonyms to describe mixed joys and sorrows, which caused laughter from the audience. She also revealed that she will return to acting in the near future and participate in the Hollywood work Butterfly. News highlights: P. League and announced today that the Kaohsiung Steelers have submitted an application to withdraw from the league, which has been agreed after discussion. The league thanked the Steelers for their contributions to the league and local fans over the past 4 seasons, and stated that they will continue to build Taiwan's highest-level professional basketball stage and work hard for the development of Taiwan's basketball world. News highlights a body was found in the mountainous area of Tuchan, Yunnan, and the police have set up a blockade to investigate. Preliminary understanding is that the deceased was a man in his 20s, who had a verbal altercation with the suspect due to a debt dispute and was taken home and beaten to death. At present, the suspect has been brought back to the substation for interrogation, and the police are making every effort to investigate the relevant case. News highlights Chairman Xi Jinping is worried about the decline in ride quality, and plans to implement designated train quota-free seats during super peak hours from 115. At the same time, the high-speed rail launched the lowest 50% off early bird discount in history from September 26 to October 13, encouraging passengers to choose off-peak trains to disperse the pressure of holidays and peak commuting. News highlights the Democratic Progressive Party caucus of the new Taipei City Council proposed yesterday, 20th, that the city government distribute 4.6 yuan in cash to each citizen and establish an industrial recovery revitalization team. New Taipei City Mayor Hou Yuyi responded that he respected the discussion of the council, but emphasized that the council did not officially pass it, and only handed it over to the city government for discussion. News highlights the well-known internet celebrity curator Chen Zhihan has traveled to China many times recently, praising China's development live, and his position is completely different from his previous criticism of China, which is regarded as a big turn. However, he revealed in his live broadcast on the 19th that he was listed as a special status in China and could not open a Douyin or Bilibili account or register a company, and his business was blocked and he still lost money. The curator said that he will return to Taiwan to continue operating Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and emphasized seeking the welfare of Taiwanese people. In this regard, fighter Zhang Jingxiang sarcastically said that the curator has not yet been recognized by the Chinese platform, criticizing his behavior of licking the Communist Party to the end, and even jokingly saying that it needs to be more absurd and exaggerated to succeed. News highlights former Taipei City Councillor Lin Yingmeng was asked to surrender the insurance by her ex-husband Lin Zhiguang on the eve of the first instance verdict due to the case of fraudulently receiving assistant fees, and her hidden marriage divorce and 38 domestic violence records were exposed. According to the prosecution's investigation, Lin Zhiguang repeatedly pulled the quilt, scrambled for her mobile phone and pushed her down when Lin Yingmeng had just returned home from artificial reproductive surgery, causing contusions and mental pain, violating the protection order, and was prosecuted today, 21st, for injury and violation of the domestic violence law. Lin Yingmeng was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months in prison and 5 years and 8 months in the first trial of the fraud case, and the case is still under appeal. News highlights China's mandatory implementation of social insurance since September 1 has raised concerns about microenterprises and low-wage workers. The total contribution ratio of enterprises and individuals can reach 40% to 60%, which is much higher than that of developed countries such as Germany, and the social security base in some areas is even higher than the minimum wage. Small business owners and employees complain about the heavy burden, resulting in meager wage remains. Experts predict that companies may evade social security through flexible employment, part-time or shared employees, and a large number of part-time and informal labor arrangements will appear in the market, impacting the labor market structure. News highlights Sheng Pinru, a former executive of Asia TV, was diagnosed with liver cancer in June this year, and his condition deteriorated rapidly, and he passed away peacefully on August 18 at the age of 48 just 2 months later. The doctor pointed out that the early symptoms of liver cancer are not obvious, and there are no warning signs in the early stages, so it is often advanced as soon as it is detected. High-risk groups include hepatitis B and C carriers, heavy drinkers and fatty liver patients, and regular abdominal ultrasound and AFP examinations are recommended for early detection. The survival rate of advanced patients is low, but new therapies such as immunotherapy and targeted drugs can prolong life, and doctors emphasize that prevention and screening are the key to staying away from liver cancer. News highlights Chen Shengwen, former deputy CEO of the Taipei City Party Department of the Democratic Progressive Party, recently sent water from the Orchid Island nuclear waste storage site to the Kuomintang Central Party headquarters, but was drunk by Kuomintang spokesman Yang Zhitong on the spot, and the video was exposed and sparked discussion. Former legislator Guo Zhengliang pointed out that the DPP has abandoned the 823 recall case, and the popularity of voting has declined, which has also dragged down the attention of the nuclear referendum, and the water delivery incident has become news. He criticized the DPP's lack of preparation and cold handling strategy, which made it difficult to meet the voter turnout target, and warned that a single-issue referendum would not attract attention, and called on the Kuomintang and the People's Party to amend the election and recall law and referendum law to deal with it. News highlights the 2026 DPP Kaohsiung mayoral primary election presents a 4-to-1 situation, and it is rumored that President Li Qiang tends to support Lai Rulong, and there are voices to persuade Su Zhija, who also belongs to the new department, to retire. However, Su Zhija posted a video on Facebook, appearing with Lin Zhihong and Huang Fifeng, members of the Yangjian Association, shouting Su Zhija frozen garlic, showing an attitude of not giving in. He emphasized that the dissuasion rumors are fake news, and that non-New People's representatives and local farmers' associations continue to support it, and said that they will strive to win the primary election at their own pace, and the support of citizens is the greatest strength. News highlights on August 20th. A man in Anhui swiped his mobile phone while walking and mistakenly stepped on a 5-step snake that was fighting with Zhu Yeking, and was first bitten by a 5-step snake, and then Zhu Yeking also took a bite, causing severe swelling of his legs. The 5-step snake and the bamboo leaf green are both highly venomous snakes, and their bites can cause serious poisoning or even death. News highlights Shi Jingzhong, a famous doctor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at National Taiwan University, revealed that a pregnant mother gave fruit when she saw a doctor, but there was a red envelope hidden in the box, which surprised him. Shi Jingzhong immediately texted the patient, emphasizing that this move was inappropriate, and said that the next outpatient clinic would be returned, while keeping records to testify. He pointed out that if it is simply a personal gift to the doctor, it can be accepted generously, but the red envelope will cause medical trouble. The incident sparked heated discussions among netizens, and many people were surprised that there are still people giving gifts in this old-school way. News highlights a man surnamed Zhong in Kaohsiung broke up with his ex-girlfriend Xylee and got married, but he is still disconnected from Xylee. In 2023, while Xylee was sleeping soundly on sleeping pills, he broke into the residence with a magnetic buckle and a spare key, forcibly assaulted and bukkake. Xylee later called the police and filed a complaint, and Zhong Nan was sentenced to 3 years and 2 months in prison in the first instance for the crime of sexual intercourse by chance. Zhong Nan denied the crime and later confessed because the evidence was clear, but his attitude was quibble and his remorse was insufficient. The Kaohsiung High Court found the original sentencing reasonable, rejected the appeal, upheld the original verdict, and the whole case can still be appealed. News highlights former Taipei City Councillor Lin Yingmeng was sentenced to 5 years and 8 months in prison on suspicion of fraudulently receiving assistant fees, and is currently on appeal. During the trial, it was revealed that she and Qingtai Xiaodong Lin's Higuang had a secret marriage in 2022, but divorced in early 2024, and the two parties sued each other many times. Lin Yingmeng accused Lin's Higuang of pulling her to retrieve clothes and pushing her down, causing her knee injury. The prosecution's investigation determined that Lin's Higuang violated the domestic violence order and was involved in the crime of injury, and has been prosecuted in accordance with the law. Lin Yingmeng was born in the Sunflower Student Movement and was elected as a member of parliament in 2018, but later lost re-election in 2022 due to the reputation of the assistant fee case and the habitual boss controversy. News highlights a case of abandonment of corpses occurred in a mountainous area in Tou Town, Yulan County on the morning of the 21st. It is reported that the cause of the whole case is suspected to be due to a debt dispute. A man in his 20s was beaten to death, and 7 suspects went to Yulan to abandon the body after committing the crime in Hsinchu. News highlights Tang Mingde, spokesman for the Military Police Command, was involved in a dispute over his mother's inheritance and was accused by his family of failing to fulfill his filial piety. Tang demanded that all medical, nursing and funeral documents be presented, and even the cost of the tower was shared together, and advocated that the spirit bone tower should be shared by the 3 heirs. However, the mother had recorded a video confession before her death, and the seal and passbook were kept by her granddaughter for medical expenses, which became important evidence for her niece. The family of the siblings accused Tang Xiao of visiting his mother, letting his mother sleep on the sofa during the New Year, and fighting for the tower position as early as when he was hospitalized. Tang Mingde responded by emphasizing that he paid filial piety and took his mother on a trip, denying unfilial piety. If the two parties continue to sue each other, it may lead to another alimony lawsuit. News highlights the wife of a doctor surnamed Wang in Yulan miraculously survived by driving into the valley floor of the Bi Highway, but was mysteriously buried in a fire pit 3 days later. The prosecutor's investigation found that the driving recorder before the Mercedes SUV fell into the valley showed that there was no deceleration, straight to the bottom of the valley, and the vehicle was checked by the original technician that the machinery and brakes were normal, and the conversation was not recorded in the recorder. The police ruled out the motive for fraud, and there was no external intervention in the autopsy of the body, but drug reactions were detected in both the body and the cup, which is suspected to be related to her visiting the psychosomatic department. The forensic doctor found that some organ injuries were consistent with the accident of falling into the valley, and there are still many doubts in the whole case, and the prosecutors continue to investigate the truth of the cause of death.